Alright everybody, I thought today that I would show you how I make my hardcovers and how I turn this into this. I'm not going to do a flip of this because it's personal stuff, so I am sorry to disappoint. If you click away now, I fully understand. If you'd like to see how I make this, then stay tuned because this is what I'm going to show you how to do today. Alright, I'm going to move this out of the way and then we're going to get started. We're going to probably do this in two parts, but once you have your inserts done, this is the one that I did last time in our last video. Actually, I haven't used it. But we're going to pretend like I did, and I'm going to use the same method that I did to make the other one that is finished. Okay, so I'm going to set the tin aside. Okay, so this is 3 signatures, and so you can expect when you're junk journaling, you can expect each one of these to double in size. If you were to put this in a book and push it down like this and only give yourself a book that's about 1 inch wide, you will get a gator mouth really, really bad. It'll go kind of like that. But if you stack them, once you have them full and they're doubled in size, stack them like this, and then you're going to measure the height that way. And that's how you're going to decide how thick you want to make your case binding. So I know that this is going to double in size when I'm done with it. So it's going to be about like that once it's full of all of my life junk. And so I'm going to pretend like it is this thick, and this is how I'm going to proceed making my book. This is only 3 signatures. The one earlier had 4 signatures, but I'm going to show you 3 because it's much easier, and most of you are probably not going to want to do more than 3 signatures. 3 signatures will last me about 6 weeks, so keep that in mind. 2 signatures about a month, and 4 signatures about 8 weeks. If you hear a rumble in the background, that is the air conditioner. It is hot outside, so it can't be avoided. Alright, so I know that this is going to expand to be about almost 3 inches. So I'm going to do a 2.5 inch spine. So this here is woven interfacing. You buy it in the fabric store, and it kind of has a starched feeling to it. It's very, very thin, and it's what I'm using for my first layer. Alright, so I'm going to fold it in half. So I want it to be 2.5 inch spine, so I need the midpoint to be at 1 1/4. And then with my pencil, I'm just going to mark so that it's even on both sides. So this is where you're going to sew your signatures on. You're going to sew one here, here, and here. And then you want to have this excess on, so don't cut it off. You want that to be there, so go ahead and leave it. I'm going to flip it over and do the same exact thing. So right here in the center, at the 0 mark, and then at the 2.5 mark. Alright, and then I'm going to go ahead and just draw lines. Alright, so these are where my signatures need to end up. But first I need to trim it down because my signatures, I don't want this to be quite as long as my signatures are. Now you can cover this with a pretty patterned paper if you want to, but I like the way this looks. It adds texture and I like it, so. Alright, so that's how tall my signatures are, and I'm going to just cut right below that. And I'm just marking it with my pencil so that I can cut it with my scissors. Alright. You can put your signatures on a couple of different ways. You just have to figure out how you want to put them on. You really don't even have to, I mean, you can use the same holes that you had here and just sew in them again. You don't have to do any special pattern because no one's going to see this. So, I mean, you can just dive right in and do it. There's really no rules. And I'm going to grab out of my little box of wonder, and I need my hole punch, so I'll use that as well. Here we go. Now you can pull off enough thread to sew all 3 signatures at once, or you can just do one signature at a time. Honestly, there's no right or wrong way to do this as long as you get it on there. One thing I do want to do real quick though is I want to glue, because once I get these sewn on here, there's not going to be much stability here. It's going to like wave and wrinkle and stuff. So I was thinking I would take a piece of cardstock. So now we have our spine protector type dealy dabby thing. That's my technical name for it. Alright, and then put this down. Well, here I thought I made it bigger, but it looks like I didn't, so that's okay though. It'll serve its purpose. Okay. I know that when I'm in my creative space and I'm making things and just I go with the flow. I don't necessarily start out with a plan. I know how to do things because of past experience, and so I do them, but it doesn't, I don't know. I just like to go with the flow and experiment and try new things and stuff like that. So I don't really have a plan. I just know what I want. Okay, so I am going to punch holes in this because I want it to be secure really close up here and down here. So I'm going to go ahead and punch more holes. I'll use the ones that are here, and I'm going to punch some more. So I'm just going to punch there, and then punch another one right there, because I just want it to be really secure. Alright, so this doesn't matter to me if it's the first one or the last one, but it's not going to be the middle one. I'm going to line this up on here. Okay. Lining it up, and I'm going to make sure my needle goes right in that line that I drew. And now what I'm going to do is I'm looking for the next hole, which is right here. So I'm just going to come through just like you would if you were embroidering here. And I am going to go ahead and tie a knot here because I'm probably not going to come back down. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and tie this off so that I don't have to worry about it later. And I'm just going to do a square knot, so it's going to be right over left and then left over right. Okay. Some people like to leave their strings, and that's dandy. If you want to do that, you can. I left these ones because I'm going to put some charms on it, but these ones I don't really want to leave, so I'm not going to. Alright, So now I need to go in this hole, making sure that I go through the line, which I am. So the nice way about doing it this way is that you don't have to be precise. So if you're just trying to have fun and you don't want to stress out too much, this might be the way for you. Okay. Normally I would be listening to Audible, but since y'all are here with me, I will refrain. And then through the last hole, making sure I'm hitting that line that I drew, and I am. So it's better to wax your thread, which I didn't do because I don't have any wax, but it's better to wax your thread because it doesn't tangle so easily. Alright, so that's the first one sewn on, and now I'm going to get the next one. And you want to make sure you keep these in order that you use them, because I'm just showing you for demonstration purposes. But if you take them apart, you want to make sure you put them back in the same order if you're binding them after you've used them, after you've filled in the pages. I think I have a clip, which would probably be really, really helpful. I'm just going to punch these again just to make sure that they're easy to get to. Alright, here we go. Okay, making sure I'm on the line. So you always want to do your text block, which is what this is. This is the text block. You want to do that before you do your casing, because there's AC again. Because the text block determines how big your casing is going to be. And I would like to make a little bit of a disclaimer. Nothing I'm doing is new under the sun. There are other people who have done it before me. I don't know who they are, but I will just say that I am positive this is not an original idea. I just don't know who originated the idea. Okay. Alright, and then we're going to go down again. Alright, so after stitching in the last signature, we now have a text block. And this particular one has wide spaces between each signature. Now, you can cover this with pretty paper, washi tape, whatever you want. I personally like the look of the interfacing. I think it adds texture, and the flowers underneath peeking through works for me. I am going to do one final thing to this, and then I'm going to set it aside and work on the casing. But you are not going to see the dry time, because the power of editing is going to bring you right back. And yeah, and then next week you'll see the video for making the casing. But without further ado, this is what the spine looks like, and I'm just going to open it flat like this. And then I'm going to take a piece of mull, and I'm going to cut it down a little because it doesn't need to be that big. So you can, for this, you can use another piece of this. You don't have to use mull. I just like it because it's so thin, and I happen to have it, so I'm going to use it up. But you can totally use another piece of this for this step. And get my trusty glue. This is just PVA glue. It's acid free. It's really excellent glue. I like it a lot. This bottle is called the Baby Bot. I got it off of Amazon. Woodworkers use it, and I love it because it has this reservoir here, and you just push. There you go. So you can just push, and it just brings the glue out. Wow, I just flung glue all over myself. Fabulous, Jen. All right. Okay. And then I'm only putting it on the spine part. That's it. I don't want it to be anywhere else. Okay. And then I'm going to actually put another layer of a nice thick layer of glue on. I'm really pushing it into the fibers so that it sticks really well. Alright, so this is going to just sit and dry. I'm going to add some end papers to this. This is some coffee dyed paper that I have that I'm going to use as end papers. So this is, I got this from Traditional Bookbinding Methods. This is how you do it. I know it seems weird, but trust me, it works every single time. All right, so I'm just gonna take, I'm almost out of glue, but I definitely have enough for this part. I will definitely have to get more though for the next part when I join this with the cover. And you're just gonna put a strip down the side there, and then take your just tip that in, and that's the end paper, and it's glued to this one here. So now we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. And I like to work on these craft mats because the glue doesn't stick to them. Once it's dry, you just peel it up and you're good to go. So, okay. And I want the pretty side on the inside, so man, that AC is just going like crazy today. I don't even know what temperature it is outside. I didn't wear my watch today. You always want to spread your glue out because if you don't, it will cause the paper to buckle. Nobody likes to have buckled paper. There we go. That's our end sheets. And you have to have these little tabs on the end here. So I have a piece of interfacing and I have a piece of mull. In between them I have a piece of cardstock. And that's that. Now you can add headbands, and that's totally fine to do. I recommend using a piece of lace, which I don't have, or you can use traditional headbands or whatever. So I think what I'll do with this though is later on I will sew the headbands in to the cover once it's, you know, done. The reason why you want to put a headband on is to protect these pages from rubbing against the cover, and it just helps keep these pages nice and clean and from deteriorating over use. and also they just make it look finished and nice. So I recommend them. I'll show you the ones I did. So this is like a Chanel lace that I got that I used. I recommend headbands and head and tail. Put them on there. I don't have any today, so I'm going to do something different later on. I will add them on. But now that we have our end pages on, we're almost ready to rock and roll. That's all we need to do for this.